It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the movies of March 19th, 1993. Only two movies to look at today, but they are two of the most notorious flops that came out in 1993. And you're going to see why as we move along. So let's go ahead and start off with the first movie that we have here, the end of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise, at least this original franchise, at least. And by franchise, I mean the films. The series still went on for like 3 more years after that, but we'll delve into that as we go along here. But let's talk about the movie that killed the live-action Ninja Turtle movie franchise. That is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
'16th century Japan. Brave men ride into battle, fighting an evil emperor. With their only hope, a golden scepter that can open the gates of time itself. Now, in their darkest hour, come 4 brave fighters from another time, another place, another species.
You were expecting maybe the Addams Family?
They're back, and they're back in time.
Hey, dudes, check it out! We're in Shogun!
It was before demons defeated my ancestors. Now they've come back for me.
Talk about your quantum leap!
My cannons can destroy these monsters, my lord.
Uh-oh, this doesn't bode well. I love this stuff!
How are we gonna get home?
Still there! Somebody dial 911.
I have a feeling we're gonna be here for a very long time.
Another shower.
This is the worst rescue I've ever had.
I think I swallowed a frog. I hope it wasn't an ancestor.
New Line Cinema presents
A Legorama. Sweet.
the 4 greatest turtles
Hey, all right. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
ever to go down in history.
It's just your ordinary time travel equal mass displacement kind of thing. Kids.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Help, I'm a turtle and I can't get up.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. In the trailer, the costumes don't look too bad. They really do not look bad. They're not the same as the ones from the first 2 movies. Jim Henson's Creature Shop didn't work on this one, so they had to go to another company. But at least in this trailer and in the movie, the costumes don't look as bad as some of the stuff that came after the movie came out. I'm talking about the VHS cover. I'm talking about the DVD covers, like the ones that you see all over the place, like the ones that they put. Let me show you what I mean. Yeah, that doesn't look too good. And it looks better in the movie, at least in the trailer, at least. But that's still pretty bad. But don't worry, it gets worse than that. Like, what the hell is that thing supposed to be? Like, oh my god, that looks horrible. That just looks horrible. And the sad part is, this is one of those big face DVD covers they do now. And unfortunately, they use every single one of the live action movies uses something like that in there. Oh, and Turtles in Time. That is not the title of the movie, even though they keep tying this to Turtles in Time, the video game, which is the far superior Ninja Turtles project with the name Turtles in Time. But, yeah, I don't know why everyone keeps calling it Turtles in Time, because it has nothing to do with the far superior video game. I guess because they go back in time, they said that one. They just said, fuck it, put Turtles in Time on there, but this movie has nothing to do with that video game. Yeah, and you see what I mean? They used the old Ninja Turtles 3 designs on the original Ninja Turtles movie. That is not from the original Ninja Turtles movie. That is from the 93 movie. They don't use the ones made by the Jim Henson Creature Shop. Let me show you, for example. That's Leonardo from Ninja Turtles 3. That's Leonardo from Ninja Turtles 1. Ninja Turtles 3. Ninja Turtles 1. And now here's Ninja Turtles 2. That's Ninja Turtles 3 Donatello. That's Ninja Turtles 2 Donatello. Ninja Turtles 3. Ninja Turtles 2. You can obviously tell the difference. But only if only the costumes were the worst part about this movie. sadly, they're not as bad as what the rest of the movie is, because the rest of the movie is just, it feels like a movie that they wanted to. They were clearly tired of this making these movies. Like, you could just tell by this point they were just running on fumes at this point, and they said, "Let's write the worst possible script with some of the worst bit of comedy and worst bit of writing that we could possibly do to make people not want to go see these movies anymore." And you heard it in the trailer there, lines like, "You were expecting maybe the Addams Family and the Wayne's World swing," and like there's other topical jokes like that where it's just, which are just terribly written material, and it's just it's just unfunny on so many levels. Like, the film itself could have also had some good ideas to it. I mean, the idea of having the turtles going back in time is a pretty fun idea, and sending them back to ancient Japan could be a great idea, but it's just the wrong execution, and just the writing is not that well written. The puppeteer work overall is not very good. But I gotta give them credit though for actually getting some of the people that they had back for this one. Robbie Rist and Brian Toshi, the voices of Michelangelo and Leonardo, are the only two actors who have voiced all these characters in all three of these movies. And Corey Feldman, who was Donatello in the original Ninja Turtles movie, came back for this one. And you see Elias Koteas, who plays Casey Jones in the first film, came back for this one as well. And and the big surprise, I think, was that Judith Hoag from the first movie wasn't back, but they brought back Paige Turco from the second movie as April O'Neil. But it's weird casting choices, but I mean, I gotta give them credit for actually trying to bring some of the characters back from the previous film. I just wish they brought them back in a much better movie. I mean, the biggest problem with Ninja Turtles 3 is that you could just tell that they were done with this series. They wanted nothing else to do with it. They were really running out of ideas. And kind of like how the Ninja Turtles franchise itself was kind of running on fumes at the time. Like in 93, they were still popular, but they weren't as popular as they were at the start of the 90s. And like I said, they were on for like 3 more years after this movie came out. But even by then, the animated series was running out of muster, and they were just basically copying what Batman the Animated Series was doing with the red background, and then trying to add this extra layer to the turtle. Those apparently in the last seasons of the show, there was actually another stage mutation that they were trying to add to these characters that made no sense whatsoever. And like I said, it just felt like they were running out of fumes. It was an idea that was slowly but surely coming to its end, a popular thing that was slowly but surely coming to its end originally. Nowadays, the Ninja Turtles are still very popular, but with all the different adaptations they had. But this was nearing the beginning of the end for the Ninja Turtles' original run of popularity in the late '80s, early '90s, and this is the movie that kind of probably started that trend, because nobody really remembers this movie being good, and most of the time, whenever you hear people talking about the live-action Ninja Turtles movie, they're only talking about the first 2 ones, and then not this one. So, and that's pretty much all I got for you on Ninja Turtles 3. I think I don't need to say too much more, because I think everybody agrees that it's the worst movie of the original trilogy, and for good reason, because it just wasn't a very good film, and it just felt like it was the end of the road for these guys back then. So, yeah, that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Now let's move on to the next movie, and that is Bridget Fonda in Point of No Return.
Guilty of the crime of murder, it is the judgment of this court that you be sentenced to die, and may God have mercy on your soul.
The government gave her a choice. Death or life.
We've decided to give you another chance.
As an assassin.
We need a young female operative. I think she's the one.
What do I gotta do?
Rule number 5, take out the bad guys, do not shoot the good guys.
What do you do when you're most uncomfortable?
Okay, come on, hit me.
I hit.
I want immediate improvement or she gets a bullet in the brain.
You might want to try smiling.
Why are you so serious?
He mentioned the word bullet and he mentioned the word brain. You hearing me? Your name is Claudia Doran. You live in Venice, California. Where are you from? It's not a trick question.
Chicago.
And your code name is Nina.
Hello?
Nina, 1 hour. There are 3 people sitting behind you on the balcony.
I don't understand.
I want you to put 2 bullets in the VIP.
Once she took their deal, she passed the point of no return.
How are you?
Just blew up a hotel. How the hell do you think I am?
You like living with a ghost.
In a minute.
You never tell me anything.
A while ago, I did something really bad. I'm always going to be paid for it.
When they gave her a new life,
I know you liked that you made me into something different. Please, Bob, let me go.
they never thought she'd want to live it.
If you pull this job off for me, I'll see what I can do to help.
Bridget Fonda. Point of no return.
So this is the remake of La Femme Nikita, the movie made by Luc Besson. The studio that had the distribution rights for La Femme Nikita, Gaumont, actually sold the remake rights to Warner Brothers. Luc Besson was actually going to write the script for this and direct, and he wrote the first draft of it, but they couldn't come to a deal with directing the film, so they basically said they basically got somebody else, and that somebody else was John Badham, who had just done films like The Hard Way and also Bird on a Wire, and Stakeout, Short Circuit, War Games. He's a prolific director that we've talked about before on the show. And there were some other actors that they were going to look at. Winona Ryder, Madonna, Demi Moore, Julia Lewis, Robin Wright, Julia Roberts. They were actually convinced to get... they were actually trying to get Babette Schroeder to potentially direct this movie. But that never happened. And that movie actually had another title under it called The Specialist, but of course that would later become the Sylvester Stallone, Sharon Stone movie that would come out the following year. And you could pretty much tell that this movie really does not have the same charm and the same magnetism that the original Nikita had. Like, Bridget Fonda is no Anne Perrault. Here's my thing with these type of movies. With these, where you got it's an action movie with a female lead in it. Most of the time, female actresses can't really handle this type of an action movie. Like, there are very few movies that I've seen, especially as of late, where you take a top leading actress and you put her in something that's something kind of outside of her role, her normal routine. Like, there's been a couple of examples of people who have been able to do that. Stuff like people like Charlize Theron, who's done great action work, Mad Max Fury Road, Atomic Blonde. I'm trying to think of who else. Ava Green, who did 300, Rise of an Empire, Sin City, Sin City 2, was in Casino Royale, and I know there are other ones, but I always think back to some of the bad ones. Like, Salma Hayek is somebody that I really think they were trying to make an action heroine at some point, and that didn't work out too well. Even Scarlett Johansson has had some really bad action movies. Ghost in the Shell, the worst movie I've ever seen, Lucy, is a perfect example. I hate that movie so much. Recently, Blake Lively is somebody they were trying to turn into an action star, and they had The Rhythm Section, which was not a very good movie. So, at least to me, there's only a few select actresses who can really make this material work and prove to be a really good action heroine. I mean, I'm not expecting I'm not expecting somebody to be incredible all the time. I just want somebody to be a genuine action heroine, and I don't know. I don't think Bridget Fonda was right for this role. I think the main problem with this movie is that they have a lot of stars in here, and I think that's one of the biggest problems with the movie, is that I think they went more for the star power than the actual decent script, because you have not only Bridget Fonda, you have Gabriel Byrne, Dermot Mulroney, Anne Bancroft, Harvey Keitel, Miguel Ferrer, Olivia d'Abo, Michael Rappaport, Lorraine Toussaint, just these notable names in here, and there's nothing really all that exciting about this movie at all. It's a been there, done that type of movie. We've seen movies like this that have been done over and over again, and Bridget Fonda just can't make this work. I love Bridget Fonda. I think she's a great actress, but this movie just wasn't making it work for her. And I mean, there's just nothing exciting about this movie at all. I was really bored the first time I saw this movie. And there was just nothing that was really making me really appreciate this movie. But yeah, it just didn't work for me. It's a movie that's just kind of like, it really didn't have the right material, the right things that it needed to do to be as good as the original La Femme Nikita. Especially since we've gotten two better versions of that story since then, with the USA series they did in the 90s with Peter Wilson, and then more recently the CW series with Maggie Q, which I think is the best of the three remakes they've done. If you haven't seen Nikita, definitely check that show out. It's pretty good. It was one of the few great shows that I was watching on the CW as it was on the air. And but other than this, though, you're pretty much better off skipping this movie. Just watch the two Nikita TV series and avoid this remake because it's not very good. So that's pretty much all I got to say on Point of No Return. So on that note, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we've got 5 more movies, and we've got Melanie Griffith, John Goodman, and Don Johnson in the comedy Born Yesterday. We also have Marley Matlin in the thriller Hear No Evil. We also have Married to It, The Opposite Sex and How to Live with Them, and 50-50. So 5 movies to look at next time around, and we will look at those movies on the next one. So until then, though, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you for watching, I'll see you next time, and until then, as always, take care.